by broadcast packet?
It's the broadcast is like we will just use it. We will get to know the IP address. Sorry, MAC address. The when initially when the packet is going through the switch, like we don't know the destination MAC address. In order to know the destination MAC address, first we will in the place of
Okay,
MAC
let me
address
stop
we will
you there now.
put
Actually, you confuse this with ARP request, right? Actually, what you are telling is ARP request.
Yeah, broadcast is in the sense like the one which is packet is sending from the source. Other than that, it will send for every destination
Yes,
with the.
yes, that's right. A broadcast packet is broadcast message is a message that whenever it is received by the device, it will be forwarded to every other device connected to that particular device. That is a broadcast packet. For example, imagine we have one more PC right here, okay, and I will make this connectivity like this. Now, whenever let's say PC A, B, and C, whenever PC A will send a broadcast packet, this broadcast packet will be sent to everyone. For example, I will send it here. If it is a broadcast packet, it will send by this switch to this PC and to this PC as well. That is the meaning of broadcast packet. Only simple as that. Unicast packet is what? Unicast packet is very simple. In this, the PC will say, I want to communicate with the PC B only. So the packet will go from here to switch 0, it will go here and it will only go to PCB. This guy will not receive it because it is a unicast packet. And the biggest difference, the technical difference now I'll tell you between a unicast packet and a broadcast packet. See, in a unicast packet, the source MAC address is of the device. For example, let's say their MAC addresses are, the MAC address is A1, his MAC address is B1, his MAC address is C1. Okay, in reality, always remember the MAC addresses are not like this, they are 12 digits. Okay, let me show you the real MAC address of my machine. If you want to see, you can give get MAC also. See, these are how the real MAC addresses looks like. But for easiness, we'll just say A1, A2, and A1, B1, and C1. Let's take that. So whenever a unicast packet goes, the biggest difference. Okay, so if you want, I am recording this also, and you can write this one also. The difference between the unicast packet and the broadcast packet. In the unicast packet, you will be having source IP, destination IP, source MAC, and the destination MAC as well. In the broadcast, all these things also will be there because these four things will always be there, doesn't matter whatever you will send. So see, the thing is, we are studying switching, we are studying layer 2 device, so we will not talk about what is the source IP and destination IP is going to be. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay guys, so when I say a broadcast and a unicast, now the thing is, the broadcast and unicast can be of two types. It can be a layer 2 broadcast and it can be a layer 3 broadcast also. Okay, ARP request, you might know, is a layer 2 broadcast. Even if you don't know, remember that, it's okay, leave it. What is the difference? As you might already know, layer 2 devices work on MAC address. So when we say layer 2 broadcast and unicast, we will talk about the MAC addresses only. When I say layer 3 broadcast and unicast, we will talk about the IP addresses only. Source IP, destination IP, we don't care. Why? Because we are talking about a layer 2 unicast. Source MAC will be A1. I just put it right here. Okay, okay. I'll cover this fast. Okay. Source MAC A1, destination MAC is going to be B1. Source MAC for broadcast is going to be A1, and the destination MAC is going to be 12 times F. Just I want you to tell this thing, only that, nothing special. The broadcast, always the destination MAC is going to be 12 times F. So how spanning tree works? See, spanning tree will work like this. Let me show you. Just like 5 minutes series. finish the overview of spanning tree, and then we'll start with the algorithm. If you have two connections, that is known as backup connection between the switch and your PC send a broadcast, they are going to be a very big problem. What problem? There going to be a loop in your network. Let me show you how. I will send a broadcast, it will send it here, but the problem is if you have two links, it will also send it here. Now imagine one of these two broadcasts, let's say this broadcast was received first. So now this switch will do what? They have a duty to do whenever a broadcast is received. I will receive a broadcast and I will forward it every other port, and it will even forward it right here. You see what's happening? The broadcast is received here, it will send here. Now this switch will receive the broadcast here, and it will again send it here. Again it will receive, and again it will send here, and this is what you call a layer 2 switching loop. So just like summarize this into one line, I'll just write it for you. Whenever in a switching network you have a backup connection, you have a backup or redundant connection between switches, they are going to be a loop in your network. And this loop is also known as, you might have heard the term broadcast storm. This is the broadcast storm happening. Okay, so any doubt in this? Any of you, Harsh, Nitish? Got it right?
I'm good. Yeah.
Nitish, you here with us?
Got it.
Okay, so let me just change the effort. See, this thing I cannot show you, so you have to take my word for it that it happens. And even like we used to get cases in Cisco that okay, broadcast storms are happening, switches, and what? Okay, can you guys tell me what if this is happening? Imagine in this scenario, the scenario that I just drawn here, that thing was happening. Okay, so what? Broadcast storm loops are happening. So what will happen? What is the disadvantage of that? Why we are so worried that these things should not happen? You can give me like one reason each. Tell me.
One switch will receive many broadcasts.
Okay, yeah. The switch, the one thing, the switch will receive a lot of broadcasts, but what is the bad point of it? Why we are so scared of this broadcast storm and loop in switching network?
I mean, network and network. There is a lot of latency.
Yes, latency will start coming. You are using internet, you are playing games, whatever you are doing, it will start to become much slower and slower. And see, simple thing, after a while your switch will even crash, and more than that, you might be surprised, your end devices, your PC might even crash. Why? Because see, our PC and laptops, they have a duty to do as well. Whenever they will receive a broadcast, they will open it and they will process it. And imagine there are thousands and thousands of broadcasts incoming to the PC. So what will happen after a while, our laptop and PC cannot handle that. And even if they are handling, apart from the broadcast, your real data that you are surfing on internet is coming also. So there the latency will come, and after a while even your internet, your network connectivity will be fully gone. Because the case I explained you with only two PCs, imagine what if there are hundreds of PCs in your network. Okay, so move on to another question. In this network that I just drawn, is there going to be a loop or not?
Yeah, there will be.
So Nitish? Let's see. See,
Yes.
the thing is, do you have backup connection, or you can just say, do you have a like loop structure or not, closed circuit or not? Yes, this is the closed circuit, you can see. Okay, this is the closed circuit, and simple as that. From here to here, do you have more than one path? Yes, I have more than one path, you can see that. That's why they're going to be a loop. And if you want to see, I'll just show you right here. It will send a broadcast. see that broadcast can be any broadcast, any packet. Okay, it will send here, it will send here, it will forward it here, and it will also forward here. Now when it is being forwarded here, this switch will send it here, and again it will keep on repeating the cycle. And there you lose the broadcast storm. So how do you stop this broadcast storm? This broadcast storm will only stop when one of your fuse switch will crash, right? After a while it can happen. The switches can crash and they will just reboot and your network connectivity will be down. One other thing, for instance, if we remove this link, then our problem is also solved. There will be no loop in our network, right? There will be no loop in our network. But then our backup is gone. If this link, if something bad happens to this link, then we cannot go to the PC. That's why we cannot do that. And that's why how to stop it, the only way to stop it is done by the spanning tree protocol. Okay, the job of the spanning tree protocol is to stop the layer 2 loop. And how it does that? It will put some specific ports into the blocking state. If you put some specific ports into the blocking state, on those ports, data can neither be sent nor received. Data can neither be sent nor received, hence the broadcast will also not be, will neither be sent or received. Okay, got my point? So what the spanning tree protocol will do, I hope you guys understand. It will simply put some port. See, the question is what port. So for that we have the whole spanning tree algorithm. Let's assume that this port is blocked. So what will happen? Imagine this link is working. It will send the broadcast here and it will also send the broadcast right here. But this port is into the blocking state. Okay, see, blocking state doesn't mean that it is down. It will be up. It will be, when you do show IP interface brief, it will be shown status up and protocol up. Only thing, in the spanning tree, the state of the port is blocked. So this broadcast will be sent here, but this guy will never process this broadcast, nor he will forward the broadcast out this blocking port. So your loop is immediately stopped. So that is the job of the spanning tree. I think up till this point we have done Harsh, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. So now same thing, we have to move on from here. How the spanning tree stops the port. Okay, and just want to show you one more use of packet tracer. You might be thinking that okay, whatever I was saying might be true or not. The packet tracer will prove this for you. Okay, we have the similar setup. Just put them in whatever order. Okay, and just take. PCs are not even needed. So what I will do, I will just do the connectivity as I did in the paint. Okay, now you might ask me like how to turn on spanning tree. Anybody knows? You might have heard I might have told you before. How to turn on this amazing spanning tree protocol so that there will be no loops in the network. Harsh, Nitish?
I don't remember exactly.
Can you guess, anyone? Like how can we on, like will there be some command or some switch to turn it on? Guess.
We need to enable that on the port.
Okay, yes. Now you might say that we have to enable this on the port. You might say we might enable this on the switch itself. But the thing is, the spanning tree is automatically running always, unless you go there and you turn it off. Okay, the spanning tree will already be running, and the switch ports take around 30 seconds to come up. They take around 30 seconds to come up, and I just did the connectivity, and after a while you will see right now what's happening. the spanning tree is working, and one of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ports will be in the blocking state automatically. See the magic? I never did that. I never even took the CLI of the switch. I never gave any command to even turn on the spanning tree protocol. What happened automatically? This port goes. It's not like only this
Yeah,
port will.
well, I think we have done this session earlier, right?
Yeah, I try.
We have
Yes.
done this.
Yeah, I even showed you
Yeah,
this. That
yeah.
okay, look, this
I
is the port.
remember now.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So we have to start actually from why only this port was blocked. What was so special with that port? And see, now you can even do lots of experiment. You can connect more switch air, and you will see spanning tree will automatically put some ports into the blocking state. If you do in the GNS, you cannot see this thing, because in GNS it will not show you the port state with the green or amber color. You have to go in there and you have to do the command show spanning tree. Okay, so let's start with the real thing, the spanning tree protocol algorithm. So first of all, how spanning tree will work, for that we have particular sequence and few terms also. Every switch has a MAC address, like for example, let's take the MAC address AAA. In reality, once again, the MAC address is going to be 12 digits. Let's assume the MAC address of this switch is AAA, this switch is triple B, this switch is triple C. Okay, got it, all of you?
Yeah, yeah.
Nitish.
Yes, yes, got it.
Now tell me that, okay, I told you that this switch has MAC address AAA. Now you might already know that all the interfaces on the switch have their own MAC address, right? If I click here, oh, you can see a lot of interfaces. Fast Ethernet 2131, 4151, this one and this one also. So this MAC address is of what interface? Right. In short, my question is, switch have a lot of MAC addresses. Switch have a lot of MAC addresses. So this AAA is what MAC address precisely? It belongs to like what interface or what thing? Because every switch have a lot of MAC addresses. Tell me, just any idea or anything?
The one that is directly connected to the port on the switch. I mean, the
Okay, yeah, this one I
Ingress.
get a lot, that directly connected one. But the thing is that this switch is connected on two interfaces, right? And both interfaces
Yeah.
will have different MAC address. So which one you will use? Okay, see, let me
I mean,
show you. It is F01 and F11, right? So if I go in there to the
Yeah.
switch CLI, okay, change the font. Okay, 01 and 11. Show interface F01. This is the command to see the details about the interface. So you can see that this is the MAC address of F01, and if I do F11, I will get some other MAC address. The MAC address of 01 was 66A3. This guy is 30 MB. In short, every interface will be having some or other MAC address. So which MAC address is this AAA MAC address? Got the question right, all of you? Tell me, guys. Is it audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, you're thinking.
I think it's F01.
Okay, so F01, which one is that? Okay, you might say that it is of the one who is connected and who is the lower one, right? Nitish, any thoughts?
No.
See, you're getting it right, what I'm asking.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, the thing is, in spanning tree protocol, when the spanning tree does its election, every switch will be having one specific MAC address,
and the thing is, you can now write it down. The MAC address is going to be of none of the interfaces, because switch whenever have, for example, 10 interfaces, there will be 10 MAC addresses, but the switch will be having one another special MAC address of its own, that is known as base Ethernet MAC address. How to see that? The command is show version. If you do that, you will see base Ethernet MAC address. Can you see that? This MAC address is what I am talking about. A lot of times in the interview and in the exam, they will ask that, okay, what MAC address of the switch is used by the spanning tree protocol. So it is the base Ethernet MAC address, because every switch have a base Ethernet MAC address with it. So this is the MAC address that I was talking about. So we have the AAA, BBB, CCC. Okay, so now what? We have the MAC address. Now what to do after that? Okay, so now every switch actually have a bridge ID. Every switch have what is known as a bridge ID. And what is the bridge ID? It is nothing special but a combination of the MAC address dot priority. It is just a combination of MAC address and priority, I'll just write it here. The priority is by default 32768 for all. 32768 for all switches. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to write the bridge ID of each and every switch right here. For this switch, it is AAA, nothing but dot, you will just add the priority. Okay, nothing special. MAC address and priority. Even if I don't write, you have to, like, usually in the example and scenario, they won't write it everywhere. They'll just write that all switches are having the default priority. So the default priority is 32768. And what is this whole thing? You might say it is a MAC address and priority, but this whole thing is known as the bridge ID of the switch. So in short, what is bridge ID? It is combination of priority and MAC address. I think it is 6 bytes or something. Okay, 6 or 8 bytes. Just confirm. Oh, just okay. Just a minute. Okay, so the bridge ID is the combination of MAC address and priority. Ask me if you have any doubt. Okay, because this is the very first step of identifying the bridge ID. If you are not getting this, then you might not understand after the spanning tree protocol algorithm steps. Okay, so the question is, why do we even need this bridge ID? Why it is so important? Okay, so the bridge ID is so important because the very first step of the STP algorithm is select the root bridge. Root bridge, see, root bridge is the technical name. You can think of this like a king of the topology. So the very first step of spanning tree algorithm is go in there and select the root bridge. Doesn't matter how many switch you have, there is only going to be one king. The king of the topology, technical name is root bridge. And how you will select that? Based on the bridge ID. So I'll just tell you what is the criteria and you will tell me which switch is the king. The switch having the least or lowest bridge ID is the root bridge. Okay, so now please tell me switch. Okay, I'll just change the name. We have switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. I'll just rename them. This guy is switch 1, this guy is switch 2, this guy is switch 3. So now tell me which switch is the king or the root bridge of the network. Tell me, guys. Harsh, Nitish.
S1
I think is it S1?
Switch.
I mean that we will get to know by using the distance, right?
No, that will come later. First thing, the root bridge. See, the thing is, it is just in alphabets, right? You might say that how we will compare. It's the simple, super easy. How do you compare these two numbers? Just like that. You will start from the left, right?
Okay.
You will start from the left and then you will compare. So in this, you will say which one is the lowest. We have 2 and we have 3. So the tie is broken already here. 2 is smallest, so that's why this whole number is smallest. So same thing, you will start from here. MAC address. So AAA, triple B, triple C. Which is the lowest? A, right? So switch 2 is the root bridge. It is simple as that. And this AAA, triple B, triple C are in hexadecimal. Let me just show you the hexadecimal numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Okay.
6, 7, 8, 9. Now it will be easier for you. A, B, C, D, E, F. So I'll just tell you some MAC address. Please tell me which one is the lowest just to check. Let's say we have switch 1 like this. Okay, S cannot be there. For example, we have these two switches. So which one is going to be the root bridge?
Second one.
Switch 1
Second.
or switch 2?
Switch 2.
Switch 2.
Switch 2, because the tie
Yeah.
is broken here, it has the lower, and see, priority is going to be this dot 32768 dot 32768. Okay, so switch 2. Okay, good thing. Let's make it a little interesting. Okay, which one is the root bridge now?
Switch 2.
First one or second one?
Second one.
Still second one. Why?
Push.
Because the whole MAC address is same. That's why then only we will look at the priority.
Yeah, we can also change the product. I mean,
Yes. By default it is 32768. You can go in there and you can change it also. Okay, so let's get back here. So step number 1 of the spanning tree is done, right? This guy is our root bridge. Okay, so now I need a notepad for that. Okay, in spanning tree protocol, each switch has few port states, or you can say roles. What are these port roles? See, the port either going to be one role you already know. What? The blocking port. I already told you the blocking port. What is the thing that happens here? No data can be sent or received. That is the blocking port. One other port we have, which is known as the root port. Root port is, first of all, you have one root port on every non-root bridge. What do you mean by non-root bridge? Non-root bridge means these guys, switch 1 and switch 3, which are not the king. On all the remaining of the switches, there is going to be one root port. And what is the job of one root port? It will provide the best path to reach to the king, you can say. Simple as that. Okay, it is your best path to reach to the king. So for example, on this switch, either this port or either this port is going to be a root port. Same on this, either this or either this, one of them is going to be a root port, which will provide the best path to reach to the king. How it is going to be selected, that's for later. Okay, root port, blocking port. What is a designated port? The third one. Designated port are simply straightforward. They are just normal forwarding port. And yes, this port, the root port, is also a forwarding port. What is a forwarding port? It is just a opposite of blocking. Forwarding port simply means you can send data, you can receive data. Simple as that. You can send data and you can receive data. Any doubts? Ask me questions if you have in these three ports, okay? Because this is what we are going to do in the spanning tree algorithm. After we are done with the spanning tree algorithm, every port you can see in this topology, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these 6 ports are going to have one of these port roles assigned to them. Some will be root port, some will be blocking, some will be designated port. Ask me if you have any doubt in any of these 3 ports. Guys, what is root port? Why do we need root port? Blocking you might already know, it will just block. Is it audible, guys?
Yeah, other than root port, everything is a designated port. I mean, just taking out the blocking port.
Yeah, designated port is simply your forwarding port. See,
Yeah.
now one
That's
thing
what
you might ask, what is the difference between a root port and designated port?
I mean, the root port just provides the best path.
Yeah, see the root
And
port
it will
and
also
designated.
forward
What is the similarity? Both are forwarding. Both will forward data, but the root port is the only port that can take and send the data to the king, to the root bridge. Okay, guys, I'll just pause it for a minute. Okay, some noise is coming. It will be gone in few minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just pause it for a minute. Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's continue. So see, the thing is, the very first thing, select the root bridge is the easiest step. Okay, so don't think that spanning tree is very easy. It is not that easy. Okay, but you have to be clear with every point. The step number 1 is super easy, just that. And luckily for you, the step number 2 is also easy. The real thing begin from step number 3. So step number 2 is, what do we have till now? Till now we have only one root bridge, the king. Okay, so step number 2 is all the ports of the king. See, in the interview or in the exam, don't ever say king, just say root bridge. Okay, this is for your own understanding only. All the ports of the king of the root bridge are going to be in a forwarding state, or I'll simply say in a DP state. What is the DP state? What is the designated port state? Just read it here. Forwarding port. They can send and receive data, because the thing is, on the king, think logically with your common sense. Can you block a port on the king? No. Because it is king, right? It is the main switch of the network. For it, the every port have to be blocking. Simple as that. Blocking port will happen on some other switches, not on the king. And what is the root port? Root port will provide you the best path to reach to the king. So on the king, is there going to be any root port? No, right? Because it is the king itself. That's why, what is the remaining port? DP, designated port, right? So all the ports of a root bridge are going to be in the DP state. Simple as that. So these two were literally the most basic points of your spanning tree algorithm. And the real one, the interesting one, will start from the third. Okay, guys. Step number 1 and step number 2. Any doubt if you have asked me? I'll just repeat.
No.
Step number 1, go in there, select the root bridge. The switch, see, the bridge actually means switch, okay? When spanning tree came, it was so old that time you were not even having the switch. So they used to be called bridge. That's why you have the name still root bridge. Root bridge means root switch actually. Okay, but the names are still continuing. So step number 1, select the bridge, the switch having the lowest bridge ID as your king. Step number 2, all the ports of a root bridge of the king are going to be the forwarding designated port state. Okay, so step number 3. Now, in simple terms, all the other switches, what do you mean by other switches? The non-root bridges have to have a path to reach to the king, right? So that's step number 3. Go to every non-root bridge, or simply said all the other switches, go to every non-root bridge and elect a root port. And root port, guys, is going to be 1 on every other switch. Okay, not more than 1. Go to every non-root bridge and elect a root port. Okay, but the question is that how will you do that? There can be number of ports, right? So for that you have a very specific election criteria. What is the election criteria? Number 1, the one with the lowest cost to reach to the king. Second thing, first of all, you will look at, if you have 2 and 3 ports, you will check which port is giving you, or which port is actually the closest to the king. So the port which is going to be closest to the king will give you the lowest cost, right? What do you mean by that? See, we have Ethernet, fast Ethernet and gigabit. So imagine that we have a fast Ethernet. For fast Ethernet, the cost is 19. So for example, you have fast Ethernet from one side, and from the other side you have a gigabit, 1 gigabit link. So on the gigabit link the cost is 4. You will just write down here, for fast Ethernet the cost is 19. For gigabit Ethernet the cost is 4. For 10 gigabit, for 10 GB link the cost is 2. So now you know that whichever port will give you the lowest cost will become the root port. Okay. What if in some complex topologies your cost will tie? You have 2 ports, both of them are giving you let's say 8 cost. From port number 1 the cost is 8, from the other port also the cost is 8. Then which port on the switch will become the root port? Then you will use the criteria number 2, which is lowest sender bridge ID. Lowest sender bridge ID. Okay, so what are these? Don't worry about much. I will tell you in the example. Okay, just write them down for now. Lowest sender bridge ID. Third thing, lowest port priority. In the interviews, most of the time they simply ask what are the STP algorithm steps. So you just have, they won't even give you topology. Okay, they might give you, but just to check whether you know spanning tree or not, they will simply ask you, just tell me how spanning tree works. Okay, so you cannot say in one line, okay, spanning tree port will block the port and that's it. They will ask you, tell me the steps of spanning tree algorithm. Then you will start from step number 1, 2, 3 like this, and then you are done. And spanning tree protocol is one of the most important topics of your whole switching. Why? Because this protocol is running on all the switches by default. It is so important. Step number 4, if even your lowest, like your port priority will tie, then you will look at the lowest port ID of sender. Always remember this, of sender. Okay, so now let's implement this in action. Let's go to switch 1. Now we are assuming that everywhere we are having fast Ethernet links. This is our first topology. We'll keep this super simple. All in between we have fast Ethernet, right? So the thing is, on this switch, either this guy, just either this little guy or this guy is going to be a root port. So we will simply follow the election. Lowest cost to reach to the king. So what is the cost from this side? Can you tell me?
19. Everything will be same.
Yes, it is 19 because we have a fast Ethernet in between. So the cost is 19, as I told you. What is the cost if we go from this side? It is 19 plus 19, 38. It is 38, right? So
Okay.
in this particular case, our answer is pretty much simple. That this guy is going to be the root port. Why? Because he is giving us the lowest cost. So this port is in the root port state. What is the state of this port? We don't care as of now, because go and read the step number 3. Go to every non-root bridge and elect a root port. This guy have a root port, your job is finished. Then you will go to switch 3, and on this switch 3 now you will do the same thing. So can you tell me whether this port or this port is going to be a root port, top one or bottom one?
Top one.
Why? Because he will give us the cost 19, and from here the cost will be 19 plus 19, 38, which is much more than 19. So this guy is the root port. Okay, so after this, lucky for you, the step number 4 is just like a formality to do. What? In front of RP there is always going to be, can you guess? There is always going to be a
DP.
DP. Yes, it's simple, like makes sense, because root port will give you the best path to reach to the king, and in front of RP you can never put a blocking port. So if it is already there, you will check, else you will make it DP. So in front of RP we have a DP, in front of RP we have a DP, so it is going good. Okay, so step number 5, the last step and the most complex one, you can say. Also, you have to think about this a lot. Okay, I will pause it for a minute, some other noise go passing there. Okay, so step number 5, after your meeting is resumed. Okay, after up till reaching this point, some of the links will be blank. Okay, always, doesn't matter whatever topology you have, some of the links will be blank without any port states. As we can see, this link right here, it is blank for us, right? So step number 5 is go to the remaining links and elect a root bridge, elect a DP and elect a blocking port. Okay, go to the remaining links. If you have one remaining link, go to that. If you have 5 remaining links, go on them one by one, and on the remaining link, one side will be DP and one side will be blocking. Okay, but the question is how? And for how, it is pretty easy. The answer is use the previous election process. What election process, guys? This election process. This thing is known as election process. The same election process that you did for the root port election, now again you have to do that to elect a DP and a blocking. So this election will happen on this link from left on this port and this port, and the port which will win will become the DP, the port which will lose will become the blocking port. Okay, so let's begin with the point number 1. We are right now sitting, let's take orange color, sitting here, right, and here. We have to decide which one will win the election, or which one is a better port, which one is more closer to the root bridge. Okay, so tell me, what is the cost to reach to the king from both ports? Okay, I need answer from like all of you. We're sitting here. What is the cost to reach to the king from here, and what is the cost to reach to the king from this port as well? Tell me the cost. Harsh, Nitish. You are sitting here. What is the cost from this port? You can simply say port on S1 and port on S3. Tell me.
Both are same 38.
Okay, Harsh.
Yeah, there is 19 and 38 for both of them.
Okay, good thing. See, for this point, I always get different answers. You might say 19 and 38, you might say 38, 38. Simple. See, when you are sitting on this port, this switch right here, you will never
Oh, sorry.
you will never consider the cost from here, right? Because when now see both all the switches have a root port. So whenever you have to go from root port to the king, you will always take the path from the root port itself. You already have a root port, right? So why you will say 38 ever? You will never say 38. Why? Because you already have a root port. You are sitting on this port, so can't you go like this? And can't you go like this from here? You will do that only. Okay, remember always
Okay.
in step number 5, whenever you will look at the cost to reach to the king, you will always look at the cost from the switch to reach to the king via the root port. So the cost from switch 1 is 19 and the cost from switch 3 is also 19. Any doubt? Ask me. Because both of them take the path from the root port. So now the lowest cost to reach to the king, but as we can see in both case it is a tie, right? In both case it is a blank tie. So we'll go to the step number 2. What is step number 2? The lowest sender bridge ID. Tell me now. See, it is simply asking the tie is come to on the bridge ID. So among switch 1 and switch 3, which switch has the lowest bridge ID?
Which one?
Okay,
Switch 1.
that's easy, right? You can simply see, but always remember you will look at the bridge ID only if the cost is time. Which is having the lowest bridge ID? Switch 1. That's why the port on the switch 1 will become DP and the other guy will become the blocking port, and this was your spanning tree election. So how was it? Out of 10. Easy, hard?
Yeah, it's easy.
Easy.
Okay, now I'll ask you topology and I'll decide whether it was easy or not. Spanning tree 1. Right. And good for you guys. See, for this whole today's lecture, I have already a YouTube videos for that, so I will share the link. Now, what I will do now, you will do the election. I have done my part. See, I will just first of all delete them, or let's not delete. I'll simply randomize them. What do you mean by randomize? Or I'll take some other switch. Okay, previously it used to say empty or not there. Okay, let's remove this guy. Okay, so look here guys, now you have to do some work. You have to draw this, right? Switch 0, just name it like that. Switch 4, switch 3 and switch 0. And I will not connect the cable. Why? Because as soon as I will connect the cable, you will see the blocking port. So what I will do, I will just tell you the MAC address. And how to tell the MAC address? I told you the command already, show version. This is the MAC address right here. Let's copy this thing. You can press N in packet tracer to paste. This is the MAC address of switch 3. Let's go to switch 4. Show version. Also you can copy from this tool. Okay, okay, start drawing this guys. You have to do the same spanning tree election in here. Don't write the MAC address, just give me a minute. Just draw 3 switches and do the connectivity like before. Okay, this is the thing I was worried about. Okay, now you're going to do it. So we have switch 3, switch 4 and switch 0. And imagine the cables are connected like that, because you will do the spanning tree election and I will afterwards connect the cable. And if you want to see the cables, I'll just draw them here like this. So now draw this thing and do the whole spanning tree election. What spanning tree election? Tell me which is the everything. Which is the root bridge, which is the root port, which is the DP, which is the blocking and everything. First draw this in your notebook, then I will put this on the front so that you can take help. Just draw it, okay? All of you, please. Because see, if you are not able to do now, I can help you, okay? Later on I will be sending you some tasks, but that time if you are stuck, I won't be able to help you, right? In here you will do. If you are stuck somewhere, then I'll tell you what was the thing you did wrong. Basically you just have to write the MAC address. Why not the bridge priority? Because for all of them the bridge priority is going to be 32768. All of them same, 32768 dot 32768. Done, guys? Have you drawn?
Done.
Yeah, yeah.
Nitish?
Yes, done.
Okay. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me the step number one first. I was asking you, but it was on mute. Tell me which is the root bridge of our network? The king.
It's 0.
Okay,
Switch 0.
Nitish. Nitish.
Switch 0, switch 0.
Okay, good thing. So all of you have said switch 0, and apparently all of you are wrong. Good thing I asked you.
Oh, sorry, sorry. Switch, yeah, I'm sorry. It's 3 zeros.
See, compare. We have what? 0090. I'll just compare the very first octet. That's it. 000C and 0060. It's simple, guys. 00 is
Yeah,
time,
it's 0,
right?
0.
So simply see 9, 0 or 6, which is lower? 0, right? So that's why this switch 3 is our root bridge. Okay, now you can continue the election. Your switch 3 is the root bridge. Because see, if you get the root bridge wrong, afterwards every step will be wrong. Switch 3 is your root bridge. Now you can start the election. Take help from this slide. Okay, just do it in your notebook, and afterwards I will do that, and you will just match with your result. Okay. Okay guys, you can read the steps one by one and do it accordingly. Just follow the step and you won't go wrong. Okay guys, shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's hop on here. So this guy is the root bridge. So on the root bridge, everyone is going to be a DP and DP. Okay. So
On switch 0, we have RP and DP.
yes, RP will be here.
Yeah,
This will be RP.
DP.
Now we'll do the election. One of these two, one will be DP and one will be block. So you will check the cost. Cost is 19 from here. Cost is 19 from here. So it will tie. Then you will look at the lowest bridge ID among these two. So this guy has the lowest bridge ID, so he will become DP and he will become
DP.
block.
Block.
Okay, good guys. So just give me a minute. I'll give you another task. Just I'll stop sharing because I have to find it. Just a minute, okay? Okay, switch 4 guys was blocked. So in the packet tracer we'll check the same thing whether it was really right or wrong. So for that we don't have to do much, but we just have to connect the cables, that's it. Whatever steps you have done, the switches in the packet tracer will do the same thing, and it will take them around 30 seconds to do that. Okay, so it was right. Our F11 was blocking. And I just also put the names here. It was RP. Oh, not RP, DP actually. It was DP. It was DP as well. This was RP. Block. Block also has another name. Alternative port, it is also called sometimes. This one is DP. This one is RP. So why I am showing you here, in packet tracer there is one good thing. What you can do, you can make your own topology, and before connecting the wire you can do the algorithm, and afterwards you will go in the packet tracer, and packet tracer will tell you the state of each and every port, and it will even show you that which switch is the root bridge. So let's just go here. First thing, we know on this switch 4, one guy is RP, one guy is block. Okay, before that I really want to change the format. Okay, still not changed. Okay, I'll check this later on. Leave it. Enable, and only one command you have to remember for that: show spanning tree. That's it. And first, see, you have to learn how to just read this thing. It will first show you who is the root bridge, then it will show you its own bridge details, then it will tell you what are the state of the ports. Okay, so he is saying that the guy having this MAC address is the root bridge, and if you can see 6B 8B in our topology, 6B 8B is the MAC address of the root bridge indeed. So all the switches will be having the information of the root bridge. Then it will show you that my bridge ID and my address is this 8422 8422. One thing you might find different, I told you that every switch, every bridge have the priority of 32768, right? But right now it is saying 32769. So you might be saying, was it wrong or what? The thing is, the priority is always 32768. What the switch will do, it will add the VLAN ID to it. That's it. It will add the VLAN ID to it. And see, VLAN is what? VLAN is just the logical boundary, the broadcast domain of the switches. So by default, all the ports of a switch, all of them are in VLAN 1. So simple as that. On every switch we have VLAN 1, VLAN 1, VLAN 1. All the ports are part of VLAN 1. So that's why what switch is doing, it will take 32768 and it will add the VLAN ID to it, and it will become 32769. That's it. If you happen to have in the future VLAN 10, then it will become 32768 plus 10 on all these switches. Okay, so let's move on, and it says F11. F11, it is saying, is our, look, blocking or alternative port, and it is blocking and alternative. What is the cost? Also I told you the cost is 19. And what is this thing? 128.2, this is the port priority. Every port has a port priority of 128 as well. Look, I told you in the third point, lowest port priority of the sender. So this port priority is always, guys, 128, always by default. What is the port ID? It is the sum of the numbers. For example, we have 1 1 here, right? So for this port, the port ID will become 1 plus 1, 2. You can even see here. 1 plus 1, it will become the port ID 2. For this guy, the port priority 128 and port ID will come 0 plus 1, 1. Whatever number you have in the interface, just add them. Okay, so let's move on to this switch, which is our root bridge. Same command you have to do. And as I have told you that both the ports are in the DP or forwarding state. Show spanning tree. Both ports are into the designated state, right? And it is saying this is the detail of the root bridge, and if you see, it is like a trick you can learn. When the root ID and the bridge ID details are same, then it's like the switch is saying I am myself the root bridge, the king of the topology. Why? Because see, the details of the root bridge and the details of its own switch are same. For the third one, let's go. One is going to be root port, one is going to be DP. Same command, show spanning tree. F01 is the root port, F11 is the designated port, as you guys yourself calculated. Okay, so just give me a moment, I'll give you another task. Okay, all for a minute. Okay guys, can you see the screen?
Okay.
So this is the task that you have. Draw the whole thing and you have to do the same thing. Write down the MAC addresses. Priority is same, 32768 everywhere. But first thing what you will tell me, you just draw and then tell me the cost. First you tell me the cost. Same thing, tell me who is the root bridge after drawing and what are the cost of each and every link. Then you can start with the practical. I'll just pause this recording. You guys will go on. So I'll explain what are the cost of each and every link. As you can see, fast Ethernet, right? Is it audible, Harsh, Nitish?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it is 19 here. It is like pretty simple, straightforward. In here, gigabit, the cost of gigabit is 4, pretty simple. But in here, we have a very weird thing. We have a fast Ethernet and we have a gigabit. So what cost are you going to use? Are you going to use 19 or are you going to use 4? Tell me.
4 maybe.
Harsh?
Yeah,
See, the thing is, tell me what speed is supported by both sides. Can fast Ethernet support gigabit speed? It is 100 Mbps and it is 1000. The thing is, the fast Ethernet side cannot support this gigabit speed, right? But the fast Ethernet speed bandwidth can be supported by both sides, right?
Okay.
That's why we are going to use the cost of fast Ethernet, and this you can also do in real life. You can just connect fast Ethernet to gigabit, it will work. But spanning tree will consider the cost of the lowest one always. And also tell me which switch is the root bridge.
SC.
Let's see.
SC, yep, I guess it is right. Yes, because of the three zeros, all zeros, This guy is your root bridge. So now you can continue on with the election. Share you the solution with you
Yeah.
guys. If you have doubt or if it is not matching with yours, then I will explain it to you. The solution. Yes, I get this one. This is the solution, okay? And the F1 is the forwarding, okay? F is your DP, nothing special. Just match with yours. Then I will once again explain how it worked. F means DP simply. F means DP simply. Okay. Okay, you might have some doubts. Nitish, yours was right, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I will tell you the solution.
Yeah, I got it correct.
Okay, yours also correct.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So just a minute. Where it this one. Okay. So look guys, I'll explain the solution once just to confirm how it worked. This guy was your root bridge. So on root bridge, every port was DP. Simple as that. You will just write DP or forwarding you can write. And always remember one port is going to be in one state only. Okay, every port is going to be in one state only. So let's go to this guy. The cost was 19. Everywhere it is 19 except this one. In here it is 4. In here it is 19. So this guy is the closest, so he will become root port. So does this one, root port, cost is 4, from in here more than 4. Now in here the cost from here is 38, from here it is 19 plus 4, less than 38, so this guy will become root port. Done? Any doubt?
Done.
Okay. So afterwards in front of RP there is always a DP. Usually that was always the case for us. In front of RP DP, in front of RP DP. In front of RP there was nothing, so we will make it DP. Okay, done. So only one link left now, the remaining blank link on which you haven't done any election. So among these two, one is going to be DP, one is going to be block. So what is the cost from this port? You will obviously take the cost from the root port. So the cost from this port is 19, right? Because see the cost, you will just look at the best cost from this switch. So it is 19. What about the other one? For the other one it is 19 plus 4. It is more than 19 for this switch. That's why this port has lost in the election. That's why he will become block and this port will become the designated port. Okay, so this was it. I will also try to share this recording on YouTube, so but I don't think your voices will be there because only me and the task and everything will be there, so you can later on go through this just to revise spanning tree and look at the task. And one other task I will just share here in the video, so you can try this at home. You can take a screenshot of your screen right now. Okay, this is your next task. Okay, so this one you will try on your own. Share with I will just share the election procedure afterwards. Okay, what is the root port, DP and everything for this last task. You can take a screenshot if you want. Okay, so this was all about spanning tree protocol, and I'll be ending the session now. I'll try to, I'm not sure, but if the voice quality, audio quality is good, then I will share it on YouTube as well. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you guys. I'll be ending this session.